Mina Kimes is a giant Love is Blind fan, and I really did enjoy having a conversation with her yesterday about Sam Darnold, in which I believe she didn't realize something about herself. I'm texting her asking, you must hate this Sam Darnold signing. She's like, actually, it's financially responsible. It's really just a 2-year deal. Da-da-da. I'm like, you're a Seahawk fan. You've got Sam Darnold. She was doing the GM breakdown and not the fan breakdown. There is not a Seahawk fan happy today that Sam Darnold is their quarterback. That team's not better than it was last year because Sam Darnold is their quarterback.
They lost Geno and they lost DK, so yeah, the team's not better.
And Lockett.
Lockett,
but
right?
Sam Darnold was a mirage last year. Those skill people in Minnesota are crazy good. Name Seattle's skill people now. Like
JSN.
You can't lose. I know that they're going to try and do stuff in the draft, but does anyone believe that Sam Darnold is going to make Seattle? Does anyone believe that Sam Darnold will be as good in Seattle as he was in Minnesota? Just start there.
No, that's a healthy skepticism, I think, because we've seen those quarterbacks have a good bounce back year and then hit the market and sign a regrettable deal. It's a weird time to hit reset for Seattle because they were kind of like they were a scrappy team that was in the playoff mix, but I guess they evaluated their team like that's probably our ceiling, so tear it all down.
Are you guys positive that Sam Darnold is better than Geno Smith? Not to bring up his name again.
No, I don't think so. Just because I've seen Geno Smith do it for a longer period of time. Now he is no doubt younger than Geno Smith, and I think it is a fair take to say like no matter how bullish or bearish you are on Geno, we've probably seen his best. He's a longer in the tooth quarterback. He's a stopgap solution. He's been a stopgap solution for Seattle because no one ever thought, even while he was having these years, they had the type of team that he could take them to that next level. So he's just like a year-long loan for Las Vegas. And I don't think anyone thinks anything of this Sam Darnold deal other than like he's probably going to be on another 3 teams before his career's out.
I think because of the age difference alone, I would rather have Sam Darnold than Geno Smith. Geno Smith had a really good year 3 years ago.
The Amin season.
A season less good 2 years ago.
He followed it up with another good year. He's been solid. I don't
Well,
want to
okay, the thing that I did want to bring back from yesterday, though, that I wanted to ask you guys, because all of you made DK Metcalf a number 1 receiver, which I get. But 66 catches the last couple of years, that's 4 catches a game. That's 4 a game, and that's not a number 1 receiver. 4 catches a game is not a number 1.
I'm with you. I stayed out of it because just a show before I was arguing that Tyler Lockett, kind of sneaky, has been just as many years. Like their numbers are really damn close. You could make an argument that over the course of 5 years, Tyler Lockett, while he didn't fit the profile conventionally, was their actual number 1 target.
Are we starting to really actually have that conversation? Like I told you last week, I didn't know we were ready to have that conversation. DK not a number 1. Like now in Pittsburgh, is George Pickens the number 1?
The reason I bring it up is because of Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden. And tell me how true these reports are, because I don't know what to believe. And I don't know why this sneaks up on me every year. But the free agent movement of the last couple of days, and I will go to Tony in a second because I am told that he has been crafting all week in a top 5 top free agent moves. But since you, Greg, are a football authority, and since we've got Dookie back there, an internationally known insider, Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers was in a report, but I don't know how credible the reports are, and there are a lot of people doing a bunch of maneuvering right now trying to get what are the couple of jobs that are available. Have you seen some of the reporting on the Giants that Shane has ruined everything because of what happened on Hard Knocks, and now not only do no NFL teams want to do Hard Knocks because of how the Giants front office looked while getting rid of Saquon Barkley, but now evidently nobody wants to go play for the Giants. Aaron Rodgers, Mina told us that was mutual desperation, but Pittsburgh seems to be in play. Is that real? Is Pittsburgh with Pickens and DK Metcalf something that makes sense to you for Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers is desperate right now. He doesn't have a lot of options. A month ago, 2 weeks ago, I think everybody assumed he was going to sign with the Raiders, and they went elsewhere. You know, I think Aaron Rodgers right now is going to take the first starting quarterback job he's offered because the opportunities are dwindling. there aren't that many teams left that are actively shopping and looking for a quarterback. And the idea that Aaron Rodgers might not get an offer that he feels is good enough is growing by the day.
What's real, though, with the Steelers and the reporting around the Steelers? Because you have a lot of local reporters doing stuff that the national reporters aren't doing. And so I don't know what's accurate when it comes to Pittsburgh and what is agent spiel, because it behooves Aaron Rodgers and his people to make everyone think that both the Giants and the Steelers are interested in Aaron Rodgers.
But does Mike Tomlin want to put up with the Aaron Rodgers circus? Because, like, that does not seem like a fit to me at all. Like, if you could get Russell Wilson to come back at an okay price, like, I think that might be a better option for the Steelers than Aaron Rodgers, who's still, he had a good second half, but he's still unknown, and he brings so much baggage that, like, why would you want to bring that in if you're Mike Tomlin?
We'll say we didn't know that Antonio Brown was crazy until he left Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Mike Tomlin kept that, like, under wraps.
Yeah,
right? But, like, we know Aaron Rodgers is crazy.
True enough.
I mean, I shouldn't say that, but, like, we know Aaron Rodgers has a lot of outside interest.
Comes with a lot of attention.
He will be bringing to the Steelers that doesn't seem like something Mike Tomlin would want to invite into the locker room.
It just feels like Aaron Rodgers wants to be the quarterback, but also coach the team pseudo-wise. So it's like, are you going to fall underneath and be humble enough to let a coach, or do you want to do everything?
And this is an upgrade in talent, right? I think a lot of people are positioning that way, but I mean, Breece Hall and Garrett. No, I'm saying for Aaron Rodgers to go to Pittsburgh. Najee Harris, I guess the addition of DK Metcalf makes this more of a consideration, but I like Wilson as a wide receiver better than I like DK or than I like Pickens. I like Breece Hall better as a running back than I like Najee Harris.
Harris is out, too. He's not even there.
And to your point about nobody wanting to play for the Giants, they just signed Javon Holland, who is a big free agent loss for Miami. So I think the Giants offering money makes them a team that people want to play for.
Yeah, no one wants to play with the Giants until they don't have options, and then they go play with the Giants. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if they get offered the money they're looking for and there's no other teams available, like, the Giants are just not going to not have a football team because of Hard Knocks last season. Like, they're going to have a football team full of players that went to play for the Giants.
Yeah, and if the Giants end up being Aaron Rodgers' last option, he will play for the Giants. He's not going to sit out the season at his age. He still has the ego and the need to sign and start somewhere, and he's running out of options.
Najee Harris is a Charger?
Yeah. Old face, new place?
Dude,
that happened.
There was something refreshing about yesterday with the X outage that even, like, front offices were complaining about it because they weren't working with all the information, because you would get an alert, you wouldn't see the whole thing, you'd try to click the tweet, it wouldn't expand because X had all these issues. It was a throwback. They were breaking news on television for folks yesterday. Wow.
Can we explore for a second, though, what Billy is saying? I know we are all in agreement that whatever Aaron Rodgers brings in terms of noisiness is going to be probably unlike any quarterback except maybe Deshaun Watson. There's no, I don't even know, or Colin Kaepernick in terms of noisiness. But the thing I wanted to ask you guys, what are the practical and actual detriments to that? When you say, does Mike Tomlin want to put up with that? He got rid of Antonio Brown because Antonio Brown was allowing people into their locker room, was addicted to social media, and did some things at the end that revealed to us that Antonio Brown was less stable than we thought. But in real terms, not noisiness, what is the effect of bringing headlines with a quarterback when you're starved for a quarterback?
Well, it depends on your team, right, and where you are as an organization. If you're a desperate organization like the Giants, then you're willing to bring it in. If you're Mike Tomlin, who has not had a losing season ever, who has kind of this, mold that he likes for his team, why would you risk that for bringing in a 42-year-old quarterback for one season and throw everything off just out of desperation because maybe Aaron Rodgers can take us to the second round of the playoffs?
I would make the argument that Aaron Rodgers bringing to that organization no turnovers has more value than whatever fear you have of headlines that don't matter much, that are noisy and unpleasant, and the Steelers have only had 3 coaches ever. But Mike Tomlin is also in a desperate place because he's where Jimmy Johnson and Wanstead were at the end with the Dolphins, where people were done with, hey, we're going to get there, get to the playoffs, but we're going to be the enemy of great is good. good and we're never going to be good enough to do anything. I think the desperation would be enough for Mike Tomlin that he might be willing to welcome a chastened Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if,
but also a coach killer, Aaron Rodgers, right? So like, if you give in to the desperation, it better work, or this might be the end for you, Mike Tomlin. Like, signing him and having it blow up in your face could be the end of Mike Tomlin.
I think that's the case either way, though. I think Mike Tomlin is in legitimate trouble there, where people are tired in Pittsburgh of what they're calling mediocrity that isn't actually mediocrity because they've been spoiled by him having whatever it is, 15 straight winning seasons.
Talk about a guy that would get a job right
Instantly.
away if
He'd
he
get a
got
job.
fired.
Yeah.
Right. He would, but it's been a long time since the Steelers' last Super Bowl. You know what else has been a long time? Since Aaron Rodgers' last Super Bowl. Career underachiever. One Super Bowl at age 42 he's great, don't get me wrong, first ballot Hall of Famer, but when you win one Super Bowl with that talent and that longevity, that's a career underachiever.
I have a question, though. Dan did the thing that I don't think it's accurate. He's like, you invite Aaron Rodgers into your team, no turnovers. What a ridiculous blanket statement. He had 11 picks last year. He was bad. He's 5 years older than Russell Wilson. He's also a worse quarterback than Russell Wilson was, if you look at QBR. So what are we doing here? This is like, if we're comparing and we're looking at age and we're projecting for the future and we're looking at what they most recently did, Russell Wilson was better. 2 games against the Miami Dolphins got y'all crazy?
The Steelers also re-signed Mike Tomlin to a 3-year extension last offseason. So, like, they're not just going to pay him to go away after this. They had enough faith in him last offseason, and last year they were right there on the cusp of making the playoffs.
That doesn't get you very much these days. The cusp of making the playoffs just got Seattle changing everything and has the Dolphins drowning.
Okay, but what does Aaron Rodgers get you these days?
That's fair.
Well, first of all, it gets you star hope is what it gets you. And it's different than the previous star hope that you tried with Russell Wilson, which is something teams do all the time. It's what Seattle just did. Seattle
Also, the Steelers made the playoffs last year.
What
I misspoke.
I'm just a little confused. Like, what are we doing? Here's an older star, much older star.
He's a good fit for the Giants, like in what like how it's being painted, like star hope, like great New York Giants just cross.
But
town.
he just did New York. He can't go across town and be
It's
like,
not even
oh,
it's the
I'm
same
here
place.
now.
Yeah, just stay there.
That's true.
Stay put.
I am doing something with Aaron Rodgers' second half of the season that I was not doing the first, where he was moving a lot worse the first half of the season, just physically. To me, it's an odd thing to say, given the kind of greatness that we're talking about. But when you physically lose what he lost in being able to just move around the pocket, it makes him an entirely different quarterback. It's the thing that's happened to Russell Wilson, who's like 8 years younger than him, but has taken even more of a physical beating, where you're just used to him sliding around the pocket and being someone who moves away from the rush, and it's not something he can physically do anymore when he's 10 years older than the people chasing him.
I didn't get tricked one bit by that second half of Aaron Rodgers. He was playing pickup ball in the back. Those weren't meaningful games. Those were jokes. He was playing a lot of bad teams. Red Zone would never go to those games. He was just spamming balls to his best friend over there, loving life like it was his last hurrah. Russell Wilson was playing meaningful football.
He wasn't very good in them at the end, but
he was better than
he was
Aaron.
playing.
But
in
Mike,
them.
here's the thing. They had Justin Fields and they had Russell Wilson. And then Justin Fields was playing well until Mike Tomlin said, you know what? Russell Wilson gives us a better chance to win. Maybe they've looked inside and said, hey, you know what? I think Aaron Rodgers, even though he's been playing bad in New York, gives us a better chance to win than what we've already seen with Russell Wilson.
I'm not saying it's not a difficult decision to make. Like, you weigh the pros and cons, but the more that you look at it practically, counting numbers, age, I'm not even talking about off-field headaches. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, he has fallen off completely since trying to force a ball to Devontae Adams and missing a wide-open receiver underneath in the playoffs against the San Francisco 49ers. He's fallen off a cliff. And on top of that, he tore his Achilles. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
You also, if you want to cite Greg Cody's quarterback rankings from yesterday that led into that whole debate over Geno Smith, Russell Wilson was ranked 23rd in those rankings. Aaron Rodgers, 22nd. So how much better are you getting?
Okay, but would Aaron Rodgers be an upgrade over Daniel Jones, for example? Yeah. Yes, he would. For 1 year, Aaron Rodgers is a good stopgap one-year quarterback for somebody.
But he hasn't been.
Well, he hasn't been for the Jets. He was on a bad Jets team, and he couldn't elevate it. But it's a fact that no matter the competition. It's the fact that his second half of last season was good.
That wasn't considered a bad Jets team until he made it a bad Jets team. That was not considered a bad Jets team.
The defense was considered okay.
That Jets team had hope when he was the quarterback.
They were favorites to win the division at the start of the season.
You've said that a few times, and you keep repeating that, and I don't think that's true. No. I think the Bills were always
you guys know. I'm telling you.
People wrote the Bills off.
The Bills had a bad
off. The start of last season, the Dolphins were ahead of the Bills.
It's another thing that you invite with Aaron Rodgers is like, hey, what makes you most comfortable? Well, Al Lazard does. Nathaniel Hackett does. The guy he's his own worst enemy because he carried so many mediocre people to success that they would never see otherwise. McCarthy, all these OCs that got jobs.
Fat number 80.
He just elevated everybody to the point that his mind got shaped that this is who I am. Just give me these mediocre people constantly. Hopefully Tomlin's different. If they do bring him in, I actually do think Tomlin would be different, and I can see how it could work. Do I trust Aaron Rodgers more to not lose me a Mike Tomlin game plan than I trust Russell Wilson? Like, that's the conversation I guess folks should be having.
You know who I would go after if I was the Steelers? Jameis Winston.
Wow.
Jameis Winston can
talk about Mike Tomlin's head blowing off.
No,
yeah,
no
That's
way.
not a fit for that.
It's like one of the worst fits for that team.
No way.
Because of the turnovers, it undoes it. Like they have to win in the margins. They cannot be turning the ball over. And Jameis will.
Did you see the work he did for Fox for the Super Bowl? That's a new man. That guy is buttoned up, and he's coming to work next season for whatever team signs him. That's a man that means business next year. If I'm a team out there looking for a quarterback, I look no further than Jameis Winston.
Okay. That is excellent anarchy from you. I will point out again to the audience that the big change the Tampa Bay Bucks made from going 7-9 to winning the Super Bowl was just eliminating Jameis Winston.
For the greatest quarterback ever. Like, come on. What are you doing?
Everything else was the same.
Who, by the way, was breaking protocol and having secret workouts while no other team was working out.
He's fine. Who cares?
Jameis Winston, did he throw 30 interceptions?
30-30 club.
Yeah.
He's the only one. Like, who's going to do that?
Okay.
History.
But I want everyone here, okay?
I hate to break it to you. Aaron Rodgers is a lot closer to Jameis Winston than he is to the version of Aaron Rodgers you think that you're going to get.
Okay, you're wrong on that.
I'm not.
Okay, again, I'm going to just keep saying that. I know that your analysis, Dookie, is when I say 30 interceptions. I know that's
yes, 4 years ago.
I know. Yes,
it is a big number.
I know, but 30 interceptions is
as opposed to the 0 made-up interceptions that Aaron Rodgers had last year.
Okay, I assure you that Aaron Rodgers will not throw 30 interceptions in any season remaining.
He may never play again.
Even if he's running around out there at 80 years old with a dialysis machine trailing him, he will not throw 30 interceptions in a season. Go ahead and find me the two quarterbacks. Did any two quarterbacks in the sport last season, did Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield throw 30 interceptions together?
Combined?
I don't think so. That's not how they're.
Cousins at the end of the year is as bad as I've ever seen.
That's not how.
That's fine. You're writing him off for something he did 4 years ago. You did that with Josh Allen, too, and where's he now?
Okay, Billy did it 4 years ago. They replaced him and immediately won the Super Bowl. Replaced just his 30 interceptions. Just got Tom Brady to stop throwing 30 interceptions.
Dan, we are such Aaron Rodgers jilted lovers. He was our favorite of all time, and he hurt us repeatedly, and we just want to believe he was the best version of himself. But I think we got to accept who he is now.
I accept that Jameis Winston is who he is. He is not buttoned up after his work for Fox this offseason.
Give him a chance, Steelers. You'll see. I won't be proven right because no one's going to give him a chance, but that's not because what I'm saying is wrong. It's because no one is willing to take the chance on him.
You will not be proven right because there has never been a worse fit in the history of the sport for a conservative run-the-ball team, the Steelers, than Jameis Winston.
Baker and Cousins combined for 32 picks this season. But Baker had 41 touchdowns, by the way.
If you tell me one quarterback does what two does, take him anytime.